So what I wanted to talk about today I thought was a nifty way to pre-visualize some terrains. So there's this great little handy app that's pretty easy to use called terrain.party. Super simple, a little bit easier than using the United States Geological Society to download satellite data. And what's nice about this is you can download stuff all around the world. And basically what you have here is you could zoom in and out. So I can zoom all the way out. Here you can see basically the whole world, and then just scroll and come around across hemispheres. And what's really great is you can actually do search. So if you know the actual location that you're looking for your search, you can just type it in there. And then basically there's a simple download button. And then you can increase or decrease the kilometers for the area that you're looking to work with. And if we zoom in here somewhere, you can see, where did we lose? Let me just type in, let me do, let's say Mount St. Helens or something. So there we go. Takes us right to Mount St. Helens. And then we can zoom in here. I'm just using middle mouse drag. As we get closer, you can see more of an area. And now you can move it around wherever you want. Castle Rock, Astoria, anywhere you want. Let's recenter it over what this is saying, Mount St. Helens. So there we go. There, it moved it. Now we can downgrade our downloadable kilometer. And then basically what's nice here is if you go to OpenStreetMap, if we go to Usgs shaded view, here we have just the shaded view of the height terrain. And this can be useful because if you're just looking for an area to help you kind of scout out what you're looking to do for your actual terrain, this is a great way because you can just kind of, again, zoom around various parts and say, you know what, some of this looks like it might be good. We have these ridges of mountains, or maybe over in here, and this could just be a way to like quickly scout out something, because the elements that you can download from terrain.party aren't huge like you get from the satellite data you get from the U.S. Geological Society, so, or national maps. But what is nice is you can, what I consider this cool is you can quickly get this in something and see if this location is something that you then want to get the larger res instead of wasting time downloading the larger version. So let's just go through some of these more. So there's the topographic. So now you have imagery to kind of get a sense of what you're downloading. And let's just go back to shaded view. I like 15 kilometers, so we're going to download. We'll just keep the name. You can change it to what you want, Mount St. Helens. Here we're just going to download, so now save file. And here you can see it's downloading. And then that's basically it. Now you can see I've downloaded a few others. So that's basically it out of the terrain.party. So again, it's terrain.party, and you can go anywhere and get height maps for cities or anywhere in the world to use as your environment as a basis and then build up upon it. So now we're in Maya, and what we want to do is we'll basically create a polyplane. So here we go. And then basically all we want to do is, make something that's relatively decent size. So let's do that. So we are roughly 100,000. So, alright, and then let's just up the subdivisions, because what we're going to do is we're going to map this. So let's go 200, 200. Alright, so now let's go back to our web browser. This should have downloaded, so we have Mount St. Helens. So let me go back, and let me just drag this over into here. And then we'll unzip it. And I just tuck the zip file back in. So now you can see we've got multiple height maps of various degrees. Aster 30mm merge, STRM. And basically what I would say is you just want to go through these and see how they apply as for what we're going to do in Maya. So I consider it partly trial and error. But what I will point out, you get this README text file from the site. And it really just tells you a little bit of what you're doing from downloading. But, oh, and then also in here it kind of tells you the images that you're getting. So what's the most latest resolution and things like that. But right over in here, this is great. You're actually getting the longitude and latitude coordinate points. So if you wanted to go into another way, like national maps or something like that, and download the very high res, you can import these coordinates and then you can get the super high res version. So like I was saying, I kind of consider this a way to scout out an area and download something quick and get it into Maya. So let's go back to Maya. So here we have our ground plane. And basically I've upped the subdivisions to 200, and on the polyplane I've increased the size. So what we want to do is all we want to do is go animation. We're going to add a deformer, and we're actually going to add a texture deformer. So here's the texture deformer, so UV, and we're just going to create it. So now this texture deformer is applied to this polyplane. Here you can see it right in here. So all we got to do is basically we're going to add a texture, turn off quadratic, and then we'll go in and we'll grab that Mount St. Helens, and we can just you can kind of see what's happening here as you scour through. You can see the resolution difference for these. So let's just do this first one, and you can also see the size of the image files here. So let's just open it. And then basically go back to the texture deformer. And now all you really want to do is you want to change the strength. And if you basically kind of mirror the size of your geometry roughly, let's take this back one less 0. Here you go. Now you're seeing basically a really rough version of Mount St. Helens. And it's just as easy as that. I mean, you can basically use the texture deformer to plug any height field information that you want. So let me just do a couple things here. So I'm going to open up my slib browser, which is great. And in here, I'm going to basically import a sky dome. I'll make sure that my renderer is switched to Redshift. So let's just make sure of that. Okay, we're Redshift. And then basically I'm just picking my HDRI and I'm going to import this. And now it's going to make a Redshift dome. So basically I just did a quick render, and then here you can see what Redshift's getting out of this just using a very generic flat light HDR. But you can see you basically have something that's pretty decent. So it's basically showing you the displacement. It's applying the displacement to our flat plane. And basically what I'd say is there's just a little bit of messing around with the deformer to get something that you want that's basically matching more with the topology of Mount St. Helens. Or you can break that and really just keep changing the deformer. So you can basically increase the height to whatever level that you're looking for. Move it down, so that you get what you see. And this could be a really cool way to quickly scout out terrains and then do a higher res download of something that you want. And then the nice thing is you could even save this Maya file and then just quickly plug in all these different maps, because basically you can switch out, because it's a square image plane, then all you got to do is go, start making folders of places that you like, and then basically bring it in. So open this. Now you can see it changed to that for Edinburgh. Let's re-render. And then that's the map that we get for Edinburgh area that I selected. So there's obviously a riverway going through here, mountains. And you can always bake this down and then up-res what you've got. Bring in this map or height field to something like World Machine, and then just start doing a little bit more of a higher res version. So here we have something that looks a little bit probably better resolution than what we had, so you get a little more detail. But I think it's kind of a cool technique to just mess around with, that you can get some really, fun imagery. So this one, obviously, there's not much in here. Look, it's all kind of dark, but let's kind of bring it in. So it's a more low-level shoreline and stuff. But it could be interesting just to get some images to start playing with and then bring it into other packages to augment what you're going through. But like I said, it's really cool, and just in that sense that you basically could save this Maya file as your image plane with the terrain deformer and just start scouting out areas that you might want to then do a more high-res download, and then that would be the more worthwhile element to download. And then, like I said, what's great, every single one of these files has this text file that basically gives you that latitude and longitude. So just something quick to think about. I thought it was kind of cool. And that's it.